Amitabha. From the Sutra. In the worlds of the zenith, there are countless other Buddhas, like the Buddha Pure Voice, the Buddha Sojourner King, the Buddha Incense Fragrance, the Buddha Fragrant Light, the Buddha Great Blazing Shoulders, the Buddha Body of Multicolored Jewel Flower Garlands, the Buddha Salad Tree King, the Buddha Precious Flower Virtue, the Buddha Sees All Truths, and the Buddha Like the Polar Mountain. Each of them, with the truthfulness of a Buddha, teaches in his own land and covers a whole cosmos, speaking these sincere words. All of you sentient beings should believe this sutra, extolling inconceivable virtues, which all Buddhas protect and keep in mind. The names of the 10 Buddhas in the zenith signify perfection in enlightenment and accomplishment, the attainment of Buddhahood in one lifetime. The first Buddha named in the zenith was Buddha Pure Voice. Voice refers to teaching. Pure voice signifies that the lecturing on the Dharma should be pure, without any trace of contamination. We can attain such purity by letting go of our contaminants. What are these contaminants? Worldly pleasures and acclaim, the afflictions of selfishness, prestige, and wealth, greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance. Having let go of these, when we teach others, our teaching will naturally be pure, because we will have become selfless, and our every thought will be for the sake of all beings. Without thoughts of self-benefit, our every act will be free from contaminants, from any selfishness. No one can do this for us, not even Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They can only teach us the principles and methods and show us how to put them into practice. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas cannot do the work on our behalf. Cultivation is up to us. Vitally important in our cultivation is letting go. As we let go, we will begin to understand the teachings better and experience their benefits. As we understand more, we will be able to let go more. Eventually, we will let go of all contaminants and naturally achieve the state of purity. The second Buddha named was Buddha Sojourner King. This name signifies the Mahayana teachings, which are direct paths to supreme, perfect enlightenment. Every Mahayana method has its own degree of difficulty, thereby allowing all to cultivate according to their abilities. The third Buddha named was the Buddha Incense Fragrance. Incense fragrance refers to the 5 kinds of fragrances of a Buddha's truth body. The 5 are morality, meditative concentration, wisdom, liberation, and wisdom flowing from one's state of liberation. Buddha Incense Fragrance also represents one of the more direct paths in the Mahayana teachings, the Zen Dharma door. The fourth Buddha named was Buddha Fragrant Light. This name signifies the Buddha mindfulness Dharma door of the Pure Land school. While the Zen Dharma door is one of the more direct paths, the most direct Mahayana path is the Pure Land Dharma door. This door is also the most reliable, the easiest, and the simplest. Furthermore, with the Pure Land method, one's achievement will be incomparably wondrous. This is why the Pure Land Dharma door is called the most direct path. The fifth Buddha named was Buddha Great Blazing Shoulders. This name signifies shouldering the responsibility to give the supreme teachings to others so that they can attain Buddhahood in one lifetime. The sixth Buddha named was Buddha Body of Multicolored Jewel Flower Garlands. The name signifies perfect attainment of Buddhahood in one lifetime, as spoken of in the Amitabha Sutra. The seventh Buddha named was Buddha Sala Tree King. His name signifies that the esoteric teachings and the Pure Land teachings are one, not two, because the practitioners of both Dharma doors cultivate a pure mind. It is, however, harder to succeed using the esoteric method than with the Pure Land method. This is so because while Pure Land practitioners attain purity by staying away from the contamination of worldly pleasures, esoteric practitioners take the more difficult approach of achieving purity in the midst of worldly pleasures. It is thus better for those of us with more limited abilities to practice the Buddha name chanting method and seek to be born in the Western Pure Land. Once there, we will steadily progress in our practice. The eighth Buddha named was Buddha Precious Flower Virtue, who signifies the perfect enjoyment body. The ninth Buddha named was Buddha Sees All Truths, who signifies innumerable manifestation bodies. When a being in the 9 Dharma realms makes a request of a Buddha, that Buddha will respond with a manifestation body. Within the request and response framework, there are 2 possible forms of requests, conscious and subconscious. There are also 2 possible forms of responses, overt and covert. Overt means that the beings are clearly aware of a Buddha's help. Covert means that the beings are not aware of a Buddha's help. A request, conscious or subconscious, can invoke either an overt or a covert response. But for this request and response to occur, an affinity is necessary. We can thus understand why we need to foster Dharma affinities with as many beings as possible to fulfill our own vow to help them all. The 10th Buddha named in the zenith was Buddha like the polar mountain, who signifies the pure truth body. In summary, this section in the sutra with passages on the Buddhas in the 6 directions, teaches us how to learn and practice, and in what sequence. First, the names of the Buddhas in the Eastern direction teach us the fundamentals of learning and practicing. Then, the names of the Buddhas in the Southern direction instruct us how to cultivate wisdom. Next, the names of the Buddhas in the Western direction show us how to develop good fortune. The names of the Buddhas in the Northern direction teach us that after having laid our foundation of wisdom and good fortune, we should teach others. The names of the Buddhas in the Nadir represent Buddhism, which can help all beings break through delusion and attain awakening. Finally, the names of the Buddhas in the Zenith represent ultimate perfection in enlightenment and accomplishment, the attainment of Buddhahood in one lifetime. Thus, from the beginning of our cultivation through to its completion, the Amitabha Sutra succinctly guides us to the ultimate goal, Buddhahood. From the Sutra. Why do you think this is called the Sutra that is protected and kept in mind by all the Buddhas? If there are good men or women who hear this scripture, uphold it, and hear the names of all these Buddhas, these good men and women will be protected and kept in mind by all the Buddhas, and will not retrogress along the path of supreme, perfect enlightenment. Therefore, all of you should faithfully accept what I say and what all the Buddhas have said. Sakyamuni Buddha told Sariputra that if good men or good women, upon hearing this sutra, sincerely accept and practice it, they will receive the support of all Buddhas. Additionally, they will no longer retrogress along the path of supreme, perfect enlightenment. Inconceivable. It means that once in the Pure Land, thanks to the support of all Buddhas, we will attain non-retrogression. With non-retrogression, we will steadily advance until, finally, we uncover the supreme Bodhi mind, the true mind that is already within us. This mind of sincerity, purity, impartiality, proper understanding, and compassion will come forth because our selfishness and worldly desires will no longer obstruct it. Before attaining our ultimate goal of supreme perfect enlightenment, we will first attain 2 prior stages of enlightenment. The first stage of enlightenment is correct enlightenment. Having eradicated the affliction of views and thoughts, arhats are at this stage. No longer having the incorrect view of self, they no longer think that one's physical body is oneself. Upon eradicating the affliction of views and thoughts, arhats transcend the 6 paths. If they do come to these paths again, it will be to fulfill their vows. To accord naturally with the thoughts of the beings they come to help and teach, the arhats will manifest in the forms most effective for teaching. The manifestation bodies are for this purpose. They are not the result of karmic retribution. Buddhas and bodhisattvas manifest in the same way to help those still trapped in the six paths. The second stage is correct, universal enlightenment. Bodhisattvas are at this stage, having eliminated a part of ignorance, seen a part of the true nature, and attained a part of the truth body. The minds of bodhisattvas are very close to the mind of a Buddha. In the sutras, Sakyamuni Buddha drew an analogy between the mind and the moon to illustrate this. The perfect, true mind of a Buddha is like a full moon. The mind of a bodhisattva is like a crescent moon, real, but neither full nor perfect. The final stage is supreme, perfect enlightenment. Buddhas are at this stage. Having realized the untroubled and non-discriminatory mind, they have attained the perfect wisdom that comprehends all truths. Sakyamuni, having comprehended all truths, once more exhorted us to seek birth in the Pure Land, as he urged us to faithfully accept what I say and what all the Buddhas have said. Given that all Buddhas always speak the truth, we can believe in this sutra because Sakyamuni Buddha spoke it. People who can truly practice as good men or good women will receive the inconceivable benefit of non-retrogression. Once in the Pure Land, they will never again regress on the path to Buddhahood. Knowing of this unsurpassed benefit for all beings, all the Buddhas dedicate themselves to convincing us to seek birth in the Pure Land. Indeed, this is why all Buddhas teach the Pure Land Dharma door. From the Sutra. All of those who have vowed, or are vowing, or will vow to be born in the land of Amitabha Buddha reach the level where they do not retrogress from supreme, perfect enlightenment. They are already born, are now being born, or will be born in that land. Therefore, all good men and women, if they have faith, must make a vow to be born in that land. The phrase, "those who have vowed," refers to those beings who are already born in the Pure Land. Our vowing refers to those who are presently making the vow and mindfully chanting the Buddha's name. They are the ones who are now being born in the Western Pure Land. Finally, those who will vow refers to future practitioners. In time, they will also have an opportunity to hear this sutra and will have the ample good roots, good fortune, and favorable conditions necessary for practice. When, in the future, they make the vow, they too will be born in that land. Once in the Pure Land, these beings will not retrogress on the path to supreme, perfect enlightenment. This means that beings already there, those who are presently going there, and those who are born there in the future will all never fall back into the six paths. If they have faith, must make a vow. This is the third time in the sutra that Sakyamuni urged us to make the vow to be born in the Western Pure Land. He urged us so many times because belief and vow are crucial. Indeed, Great Master O.E. said in his commentary on the sutra that being born in the Western Pure Land depends entirely on whether or not one has belief and vow. Having both belief and vow, one will practice, and thus definitely be born in the Pure Land. Which of the lands there that one is born in depends on the depth of meditation concentration of one's Buddha name chanting. Let's say that some practitioners do very well in their Buddha name chanting and achieve one mind undisturbed at the higher level, the level of noumenon. They will be born as bodhisattvas of non-retrogression in the land of real reward. Others, as described in Amitabha's 18th vow, are able to chant the Buddha name 10 times at the end of their lives. Or maybe only twice, or just once. When these beings are born in the Western Pure Land, they will be born in a land where sages and ordinary beings dwell together. The good fortune and wisdom of those born here will be almost the same as that of the bodhisattvas in the land of real reward. Whereas the bodhisattvas enjoy those benefits thanks to their own practice, the benefits that we will enjoy in a land where sages and ordinary beings dwell together are due to Amitabha Buddha's help. Essentially, we will enjoy the benefits provided by his good fortune. It is like that impoverished young man we learned of previously, who was invited by his aunt to live with her. He had little good fortune of his own, but was able to enjoy the extensive good fortune of his aunt. When we are able to enjoy Amitabha's good fortune in the land where sages and ordinary beings dwell together, not only will we continue to chant, we will chant more diligently. One might now wonder, what is the need to chant so much? Remember, we do not chant for ourselves alone. The more sincere our chanting, the stronger our meditative concentration will be. The stronger our meditative concentration, the higher the land in which we will be born. The higher the land, the sooner our lotus will open. And the sooner our lotus opens, the more quickly we will begin to perfectly fulfill the 4 great vows of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. These 4 vows provide the aspiration and the step-by-step progression for those who have the Bodhi mind to help all beings end suffering and attain liberation. The first of the 4 great vows is, sentient beings are innumerable. I vow to help them all. This is the most important of the 4 great vows. It is the fundamental, underlying vow that inspires us to practice without ceasing. The remaining 3 vows assist in the fulfillment of this first vow. Help them all encompasses keeping all beings in mind, caring about them, and aiding them. Although we may have made this fundamental vow, we do not yet have the ability to fulfill it. Why not? The vow to help them all covers not only other people and some animals. It also includes all beings throughout the entire 9 Dharma realms: the hells, hungry ghosts, animals, humans, asuras, the heavens, sound hearers, pratyeka Buddhas, and bodhisattvas. These realms represent different dimensions in space. But with our limited current abilities, we cannot see or hear the beings in these various dimensions in order to help them. We cannot communicate with them. How can we resolve this problem? By freeing the inherent abilities that are now obstructed by our afflictions. As soon as we end our afflictions, our innate abilities will come forth. With our innate abilities functioning, we will be able to communicate with the beings in the various dimensions and be able to help them. Thus we have the second great vow. Afflictions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them all. The third great vow is ways to practice are boundless. I vow to master them all. To begin to accomplish this vow, we need 2 kinds of wisdom. One is acquired wisdom, which comes from outside us. Acquired wisdom allows us to understand the capacities of other beings. With this wisdom, upon meeting other beings, we will immediately understand them and know what they need to progress toward awakening. The other is fundamental wisdom, our prajna wisdom, that enables us to know the specific teachings to fill that need. With these 2 wisdoms, we will be like a good doctor who is qualified to both diagnose the problem and prescribe the right treatment. We will then begin to fulfill the first of the 4 great vows. Sentient beings are innumerable. I vow to help them all. The 4th great vow is enlightenment is unsurpassable. I vow to attain it. By attaining supreme perfect enlightenment, Buddhahood, we will finally be able to help all beings, even equal enlightenment bodhisattvas. As a bodhisattva, one can help only those beings who are at a level lower than one's own. A bodhisattva is unable to help other bodhisattvas who are at the same level or higher. When one is a Buddha, however, one can universally help all beings. We now aspire to be born in the Western Pure Land. Our vow to be born there should be based on the 4 great vows. The first 2 of these vows, sentient beings are innumerable, I vow to help them all, and afflictions are inexhaustible, I vow to end them all, accord with our aversion to our world of endurance. The latter 2 of the 4 vows, ways to practice are boundless, I vow to master them all, and enlightenment is unsurpassable, I vow to attain it, accord with joyously seeking to be born in the Pure Land. Therefore, due to aversion to our present situation, we joyously seek birth in the land of ultimate bliss. Such is the incredible inspiration of the four great vows. From the Sutra. Just as I am now extolling the inconceivable virtues of all the Buddhas, all those Buddhas are likewise extolling my inconceivable virtues with these words. Sakyamuni Buddha is able to carry out a most difficult and rare task. In the Saha world, the world of endurance, in an evil world of the five corruptions, the corruption of the age, the corruption of views, the corruption of afflictions, the corruption of sentient beings, and the corruption of life, he is able to achieve supreme, perfect enlightenment, and to expound the Pure Land teaching, which all beings in all worlds find hard to believe. All those Buddhas refers to all the Buddhas in the 10 directions, including Amitabha Buddha. The 10 directions include the 6 directions we have just learned about, plus the intermediate directions of the northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. My inconceivable virtues is a reference to the merit of Sakyamuni Buddha. What is this inconceivable merit? That he was able to achieve supreme perfect enlightenment and to expound the Pure Land teaching, which all beings in all worlds find hard to believe. In his commentary on the sutra, Great Master O.E. put Sakyamuni Buddha's inconceivable accomplishment into perspective. Explaining the gradual teaching to the beings in this evil world of the five corruptions is easy. Explaining the immediate teaching is difficult. Explaining the immediate teaching other than the Pure Land teaching to beings in this evil world of the five corruptions is still easy. Explaining horizontal transcending of the immediate Pure Land teaching is particularly difficult. Explaining horizontal transcending, immediate practice, immediate attainment, and wondrous visualization of the Pure Land teachings to the beings in this evil world of the five corruptions is already not easy. But the most difficult of all is explaining this teaching that requires no laborious practice, but mindful Buddha name chanting for one to advance directly to the level of non-retrogression. A unique, wondrous, and most beneficial method that is beyond imagination. Gradual refers to the attainment of the level of non-retrogression over a long period of time. This attainment takes a long time because a practitioner has to progress through many stages. Immediate refers to the quick attainment of non-retrogression. Quick because a practitioner progresses without stages. Today, it is especially difficult to expound the immediate teaching of horizontal transcendence. Why? Because in this Dharma ending age, many people prefer to hear the gradual teaching. For them, a stage-by-stage progression would seem logical. After becoming a stream enterer, one becomes a once-returner, then a non-returner, and then an arhat. This gradual, stage-by-stage methodology makes sense to them and is therefore easier to believe. With the immediate teaching, by mindfully chanting the name of Amitabha Buddha, we will be able to transcend the three realms of desire, form, and formlessness. Be born in the Western Pure Land, where there is no retrogression, and achieve Buddhahood. But hearing of such an achievement, people very often doubt this teaching. How can someone accomplish Buddhahood so quickly by doing something as simple as chanting a Buddha's name? And so they reject this teaching, thinking that it just sounds too good to be true. Yet, even in the face of such difficulties, Sakyamuni Buddha was able to propagate this Pure Land immediate teaching. Moreover, he taught it in our Saha world, the world of endurance, in an evil world of the five corruptions, the corruption of the age, the corruption of views, the corruption of afflictions, the corruption of sentient beings, and the corruption of life. As we previously learned, it is the world that is evil, not those who dwell in that world. Given that all beings have Buddha nature, all beings are intrinsically good. But having not yet uncovered their innate wisdom, they mistake wrong for right and right for wrong. Ignorant and deluded, the beings have the misfortune to dwell not in a pure land, but in the evil world of the five corruptions. The first corruption is the corruption of the age. Corruption is pollution. Age is time. The corruption of the age means we live in troubled times. Today, the sky, land, and water, everything is polluted. People are likewise contaminated in mind, body, and spirit. We need, therefore, to be discerning about those whom we interact with, as well as carefully choose the situations that we encounter. By doing so, we will be better able to maintain a pure, unpolluted mind. To help us accomplish this mind, we can strive to attain the 6 principles of harmony. Harmony in having the same viewpoints, in observing the same precepts, in living together, in speaking without conflict, in experiencing Dharma bliss, and in sharing benefits. Additionally, we should mindfully chant the Buddha's name and wholeheartedly study our selected Pure Land Sutra. The second corruption is the corruption of views. This corruption tells us that people with vastly different opinions hold many erroneous views. One of our most problematic incorrect views, which leads us to commit untold negative karmas, is the belief that the physical body is I. The Buddha taught that the body is not I. Rather, a body is a living organism composed of various systems, not unlike a machine consisting of many connected parts. These systems comprise multiple organs, which are made up of billions of cells, and these, in turn, are made up of countless atoms. The atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. We thus begin to see that a body is a combination of many elements. It comes about due to many conditions, and the body changes ceaselessly. It is impermanent. It is illusory. A body is merely a vehicle. It is something that beings have and use. It is not I. Another significant corruption of views is dualism. Dualism arises from our wandering thoughts and attachments. Whereas we may be aware of our more obvious wandering thoughts and attachments, we are not aware of the subtle ones. These thoughts and attachments lie deep in our stored consciousness. Although buried, they can arise all too easily. For instance, the moment we judge something to be short in length, we immediately think of its opposite, long. When we think of far, we juxtapose it with near. Thinking of big, we also think of small. Everything is thought of in dualistic terms. Our most apparent dualistic concept is the differentiation of you and I. You as counter to I, and vice versa. I as counter to you. From such thoughts of the opposites as something different, disagreements will arise, eventually causing conflicts, and, in time, war. Our erroneous understanding of both causes and effects is another major corruption of views. With causes, for example, we may mistake a non-cause for a cause. Consider how most people think about financial gain. In their attempts to acquire it, they devise various ways to make money. But these are not the causes that will result in wealth. Having wealth is a karmic result. How do we get this karmic result? Sakyamuni taught that the cause which will result in having wealth is the giving of wealth. If we are unwilling to practice such giving and are instead stingy, then we will ultimately fail in our quest for financial gain. Our cause is wrong. What about the mistaken views of effects? One example is thinking that good fortune is unrelated to wholesome deeds. Or the other extreme, that misfortune is not related to unwholesome deeds. Lacking understanding, we do not realize why things happen as they do. But the most serious, erroneous view of cause and effect is simply not to believe it. Not to believe the natural law of causality. If we want to have good rewards, we must know to cultivate good causes. Good causes bring about good effects. Bad causes bring about bad effects. To think that we can create bad causes and still get good rewards goes against natural law. The third corruption is the corruption of afflictions. There are 5 major kinds of afflictions. The first major affliction is greed. Unable to let go of selfishness, we are caught up in personal attachments, always craving to have the world conform to our desires and expectations. We have yet to grasp the reality that everything, things, people, ideas, events, in our world called endurance is impermanent. Nothing can be possessed because nothing can be held onto. As the Diamond Sutra says, all conditioned existences are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow. The second major affliction is anger. When our greed remains unsatisfied and things do not occur as we desire, we give in to anger. We may yell and strike out. We may quip sarcastically. We may smolder with resentment. The one thing we fail to do is exercise patience, or even remember that we should. And so, failing to react wisely, once again, our anger destroys our peace of mind and that of others close to us. The third major affliction is ignorance. Functioning from self-interest and personal viewpoints, we are ignorant, unable to tell true from false, good from bad, right from wrong, virtue from evil, or beneficial from harmful. Just as selflessness is the antidote to greed, and patience the antidote to anger, innate prajna wisdom is the antidote to ignorance. When we uncover this wisdom, we will naturally and intuitively know what is moral and correct. The fourth major affliction is arrogance. Not having eradicated our dualistic view of life, we still perceive everything as such. Dualism not only occurs in thinking of self and others, it also permeates our opinions. We become convinced that our views are right and those of others are wrong. As our ideas and opinions become firmly entrenched, we descend into arrogance. The antidote for arrogance is humility. Humility is the sincere and honest virtue that arises from the realization that no being is superior to another. Fundamentally, because all beings have Buddha nature, we are all equal. The fifth major affliction is doubting the sage's teachings. Questioning the truthfulness of the teachings of awakened beings, we think, speak, and act as we always have, selfishly and erroneously. Questioning how the teachings can help us, we stubbornly cling to our mistaken viewpoints and residual habits instead of immersing ourselves in practices that will ensure our progression toward enlightenment. The five major afflictions of greed, anger, ignorance, arrogance, and doubt about the sage's teachings are extraordinarily difficult to eliminate. And yet, it is crucial that we do so, because these thoughts and mindsets affect both our words and our actions. When our thoughts are selfish and harmful, our speech and actions will likewise be selfish and harmful. The fourth of the five corruptions is the corruption of sentient beings. In referring to us, Sakyamuni Buddha often used the word being. This way of addressing us not only reminds us to awaken, but it also helps us understand the truth. This body of ours is not real. When various conditions combine, the phenomenon, a body, comes about. When these conditions separate, the phenomena ceases to exist. Therefore, we cannot take this phenomenon, this body, as real, because it is not permanent. The fifth corruption is the corruption of life. Due to our negative karmas, our lifespans are decreasing. The escalation in natural and human-made disasters, conflicts, and wars is causing many more people to die young. We are facing increasing toxic environmental and chemical pollution, which are now being shown to result in life-threatening medical conditions. As our children struggle to survive in the world we are creating, it is very likely that our current average lifespan will end up being longer than that of our children. Fortunately, even in this world of the five corruptions, it is possible for us to utilize the transformative benefits of our Pure Land practice. Through faith, vow, and practice, we can transform evil into perfect goodness. As Great Master O.E. advised, faith and vows and the adornment of the name of Amitabha transform the corruption of the age into an assembly of purity, transform the corruption of views into infinite light, transform the corruption of afflictions into the eternal still light, transform the corruption of sentient beings into beings born from lotuses in the Pure Land, and transform the corruption of life into infinite life. From the Sutra. Know then that in the midst of this evil world of the five corruptions, I am able to carry out this difficult task, attain supreme perfect enlightenment, and expound the Pure Land teaching, which is so hard for beings in all worlds to believe. This is indeed most difficult. This Dharma door, the Pure Land teaching, is so hard for beings in all worlds to believe, because it allows us to attain Buddhahood by mindfully chanting the Buddha name. That's it. From the moment we begin to practice until the moment we are born in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss, we chant Amitabha Buddha's name. Incredibly simple, unimaginably powerful. This combination of being simple and yet completely effective is a formula that most people find exceedingly hard to believe. And thus Sakyamuni Buddha tells us that to teach the Pure Land method is indeed most difficult. From the Sutra. When Buddha finished preaching this scripture, Sariputra and all the monks, gods, humans, Asuras, and others who had been listening, having heard what the Buddha said, rejoiced and faithfully accepted it. They all bowed in homage and departed. This is the final passage in the Amitabha Sutra. Rejoiced means that as the minds of those in the assembly opened up with understanding, they felt joy, both physically and mentally. Quite frankly, this joy is indescribable. Nothing else comes close to it, because it is nothing less than being able to be forever free of the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. From no other teaching can one find such joy. Not from mundane or even supramundane teachings. For example, Sakyamuni said that the teaching found in the 10 Virtuous Karmas Sutra can help one end one's suffering in this world. But the teaching found in the Amitabha Sutra is more wondrous still. It describes how to rely on one's own efforts, which will invoke the help of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Those who mindfully chant the Buddha name will be assisted by the supportive powers of Amitabha Buddha's causal vows, and will be protected and kept in mind by all the Buddhas in the 10 directions. How can we not rejoice upon hearing these words? With careful observation and sincere contemplation, we will come to see that nothing can compare with this unequaled joy of being assisted, protected, and kept in mind by Amitabha Buddha and all the Buddhas in the 10 directions. In the phrase, faithfully accepted it, faithfully signifies that those in the assembly had no doubt in what Sakyamuni Buddha just taught them. Accepted it means they took in the teaching and never forgot it. They then bowed in homage. By bowing, all those in the Amitabha assembly expressed their most sincere gratitude. Their bowing demonstrates that when one sincerely understands the teaching, dissolves doubt, develops belief, and makes the vow, then one's bow is an expression of profound and heartfelt appreciation. One's body and mind become one. In gratitude, one then unceasingly remembers, upholds, and studies the teachings, and compassionately teaches others through words and behavior. And so, in like manner, when we feel grateful for this inconceivably wondrous teaching, we too should express our gratitude as fully as possible by upholding and learning the teachings, and compassionately teaching others through words and behavior. From this moment until the moment we attain Buddhahood from practicing the Pure Land method, how can we do anything else but gratefully take these teachings to heart and always be mindful of Amitabha? From the Sutra. Amitabha Sutra, spoken by Buddha. In the Amitabha Sutra, Sakyamuni Buddha urged us 3 times to seek birth in the Pure Land, and 1 time to believe. He first urged us to seek birth with when sentient beings hear these teachings, they must take a vow to be born in this land. Then, for a second time, he urged us with, I have seen this benefit, and so I speak these words. If sentient beings hear what I say, they must make a vow to be born in that land. And finally, for the third time, all good men and women, if they have faith, must make a vow to be born in that land. Additionally, he also urged us to believe by saying, all of you should faithfully accept what I say and what all the Buddhas have said. Why did he exhort us so many times? Seeing the suffering that all beings in samsara are subject to, Sakyamuni Buddha compassionately strove to do everything possible to teach us how to end our suffering. And he encouraged us to do so as quickly as possible. How? Through the Pure Land Dharma door. Through the incredibly wondrous practice of Buddha name chanting. For when one chants the Buddha name, one accords with Amitabha Buddha. And as Great Master O.E. said, when one accords with Amitabha Buddha in a single thought, one is born in that thought. And when one accords with Amitabha Buddha in every thought, one is born in every thought. When we finally accomplish this, no obstruction will remain between us and the land of ultimate bliss. Our mind will be in accord with Amitabha Buddha's mind. Thus our mind is the mind of Amitabha Buddha. Our vows are the vows of Amitabha Buddha. Our practice is the practice of Amitabha Buddha. Our thoughts are the thoughts of Amitabha Buddha. Think about this. Will you be able to be born in the Pure Land? Yes, definitely.